Rain clawed at the hospital windows like something desperate to get in. Arya Carter gripped her belly as pain tore through her, sharp and merciless. The fluorescent lights above blurred into halos. "We need help," Owen's voice cracked as he held her upright. "Please, something's wrong." Nurse Rebecca appeared with a wheelchair, her eyes sharp and assessing. "How far apart?" 3 minutes. Arya's voice came out strangled. "The bleeding won't stop." Rebecca's face shifted. "We need the doctor now." The elevator ride stretched like torture. Owen's hand squeezed hers, warm and solid. Her sweet Owen, who had pieced her back together after James Whitmore had shattered her. 2 years of patient love, of proving that not all men disappear when things get hard. "You're doing great, love," Owen whispered against her temple. The 4th floor smelled like antiseptic and fear. They rushed her down the corridor, voices overlapping, machines beeping. The baby's heartbeat filled the room through the monitor, fast and wrong. "Where's the doctor?" Owen demanded. "Scrubbing in now." Arya's vision darkened at the edges. Blood loss pulled her under, but she fought it. Sophie needed her to stay conscious, to stay fighting. The doors burst open. "Get me her charts." "What's her blood pressure?" "Type and cross for transfusion." "Call anesthesia." That voice. "No." Arya's eyes snapped open. Dr. James Whitmore stood at the foot of her bed, his eyes scanning monitors before landing on her face. The room disappeared. 3 years collapsed into nothing. James went completely still. "Arya." "No." The word ripped from her throat. "Not you. Anyone but you." Owen looked between them, alarm spreading across his features. "You know each other?" "Doctor," Rebecca said carefully, "if there's a conflict." "No time." James's voice turned to steel. "She's hemorrhaging. The baby's in distress. We operate now." He moved to her side, and Arya wanted to scream at him to get away. This man had promised her forever. Had talked about children and growing old together. Then one morning, he'd left a note on her pillow: "I can't do this anymore." No explanation. No goodbye. Just gone. Sophie's heartbeat slowed on the monitor. "Save her," Arya gasped through tears. "I don't care about anything else. Just save my baby." James's jaw tightened. Something raw flickered in his eyes. "I will save both of you. I promise." He turned to the team, all business. "Prep for emergency cesarean. Move." They rushed her toward the operating room. James kept pace beside her bed, one hand on the rail. "Arya." His voice dropped low. "I know you hate me. You have every right. But I need you to trust me right now. Can you do that?" She looked up at him. The man who'd been her entire world. Who'd loved her completely, then walked away like she meant nothing. His face had changed. Older, marked by something that looked like regret. But his eyes still held that intensity she remembered. "I trust you to save my daughter," she said coldly. "That's all." James nodded, accepting the words like a slap. "That's enough." The operating room doors swung open. Owen appeared in scrubs, taking her hand. "I'm right here. Not going anywhere." The anesthesiologist worked quickly. Numbness spread through her lower body. A blue drape rose between her and her belly. "We're starting now," James announced from beyond the curtain. Arya felt pressure, pulling, tugging. Then Owen's face went white. "Oh my God," he breathed, staring past the drape. "What?" Arya tried to see. "Owen, what is it?" James's voice cut through, sharp with shock. "Get pediatrics in here. Now." "James, what's happening?" Arya's heart hammered. What's wrong with my baby? Silence stretched too long. Then James appeared above the drape, his face pale, eyes locked on hers with an expression she couldn't read. Arya, he said slowly. Your daughter is fine. Perfect, actually. But there's something you need to know. What? Tell me. She has a birthmark, James continued, his voice strangely hollow. A very distinctive one. On her left shoulder blade. Arya's breath caught. So? What does that matter right now? James's next words shattered everything. Because I have the exact same birthmark. In the exact same place. The room tilted. That's impossible, Arya whispered. When did we break up, Arya? James asked, his eyes burning into hers. Think. Exactly when? Her mind raced backward. 3 years and 9 months ago. No. Oh God, no. Sophie isn't Owen's baby, James said, his voice breaking. She's mine. The operating room went silent except for the steady beep of monitors. Owen's hand went slack in Arya's grip. What did you just say? His voice came out strangled. Owen. Arya's tears came hot and fast. Please, let me explain. Explain what? Owen stepped back from the table. That you lied to me? That our entire relationship is built on a lie? Mr. Mitchell, Rebecca interjected gently, this isn't the time. Not the time? Owen's laugh was bitter. When exactly is the time to find out the woman you're about to marry has been lying about whose child she's carrying? James finished stitching, his hands steady despite the chaos. Sophie needs to go to the NICU for observation. Her vitals are stable, but given the circumstances of delivery. Don't. Owen's finger jabbed toward James. Don't you dare act like the concerned father now. Where were you 3 years ago? Owen, stop, Arya pleaded. No. Owen's face was a mask of betrayal. I deserve answers. Did you know? He looked at Arya. All this time, did you know she was his? Arya's silence was answer enough. Oh God. Owen stumbled backward. You knew. You've known from the beginning. I didn't know for certain, Arya whispered. The timing, it was so close. You and I had just started seeing each other, and I thought maybe. Maybe what? That you could just pretend? That I'd never find out? James stripped off his gloves. This conversation needs to happen somewhere private. Not here. You don't get to tell me what to do, Owen snapped. You don't get to have any say in anything. That baby is my daughter. James's voice went cold. That gives me every right. Your daughter? Owen's face flushed red. I've been at every ultrasound. Every prenatal class. I painted the nursery. I picked out her name. She's been mine for 9 months, and you think walking in here 5 minutes ago gives you rights? Enough. Rebecca's voice cut through. Both of you, out. Now. Arya needs recovery time, and this stress isn't helping. I'll go, Owen said quietly, looking at Arya with eyes full of hurt. But when you're cleared, we need to talk. Really talk. Because I don't even know who you are anymore. He walked out, his shoulders rigid. Arya closed her eyes, fresh tears streaming down her temples into her hair. Everyone out, James ordered the remaining staff. Give us 10 minutes. The room emptied. James pulled a stool next to Arya's head, sitting so they were eye level. Why didn't you tell me you were pregnant? His voice was rough. You left me. Arya's words came out sharp. You walked away without explanation. What was I supposed to do? Call you and say, hey, remember me, the woman you abandoned? Surprise, I'm having your baby? I would have come back. Would you? She forced herself to look at him. You made it pretty clear I meant nothing to you. James flinched. You meant everything to me. That was the problem. Don't. Arya's voice broke. Don't you dare rewrite history now. You destroyed me, James. I spent weeks trying to figure out what I did wrong. I called. I texted. You blocked me everywhere. I had to. James ran a hand through his hair. Arya, my mother was dying. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. She had maybe 3 months left, and she needed round-the-clock care. I couldn't ask you to sign up for that. To watch someone you barely knew waste away. Arya's breath caught. Your mother. She wanted to die at home. I took a leave from the hospital, moved back to Boston to be with her. Every day, watching her slip away. His voice cracked. I was a coward. I thought it would be easier for you if I just disappeared. If you could hate me instead of being dragged through that nightmare. That wasn't your choice to make. Anger flared hot in Arya's chest. I loved you. I would have been there. I know. James's eyes were wet. I know that now. By the time Mom died, 6 months had passed. I came back to find you, and I saw you with him. With Owen. You looked happy. Genuinely happy. And I thought maybe I'd done the right thing after all. That you were better off. So you just watched from a distance? Every day. James's admission was raw. I transferred to this hospital specifically because I knew it was the one your insurance covered. I thought maybe, someday, I'd get a chance to see you again. To explain. I never imagined it would be like this. You've been here for 2 years? Arya's mind reeled. Watching me, pregnant with your child, and you said nothing? I didn't know she was mine. I swear, Arya. If I had known. What? What would you have done? James leaned closer, his voice fierce. Everything. I would have done everything. Fought for you. Fought for her. I never stopped loving you, Arya. Not for a single day. The door burst open. Owen stood there, his face ashen. The NICU just called. His voice shook. Sophie's oxygen levels are dropping. They need to intubate. Arya's heart stopped. No. No, you said she was fine. James was already moving. Sometimes there are complications after emergency delivery. Her lungs might not be fully developed. Save her. Arya grabbed his arm. Whatever it costs. Save our daughter. Owen's sharp intake of breath was like a knife. But he didn't leave. He stepped to Arya's other side. Our daughter, Owen corrected quietly. No matter whose blood runs through her veins, I've loved her from the moment I felt her kick. That doesn't just disappear. James looked at Owen for a long moment, something like respect passing between them. Then come with me, James said. Both of you. Let's save our daughter together. The NICU glowed under harsh lights. Sophie lay in a clear plastic incubator, tubes and wires covering her tiny body. Her chest rose and fell with mechanical precision, the ventilator breathing for her. Arya sat in a wheelchair beside the incubator, one hand pressed against the plastic. She couldn't touch her daughter. Couldn't hold her. Her lungs are underdeveloped, James explained, his doctor voice firmly in place. Common in babies born under distress. The ventilator is giving her time to strengthen. We'll wean her off slowly. How long? Owen asked from the other side of the incubator. Could be days. Could be weeks. Arya felt the words like a physical blow. I should have been more careful. Should have noticed the symptoms earlier. This isn't your fault. James crouched beside her wheelchair. Placental abruption happens without warning. You did everything right. Did I? Arya's laugh was hollow. I built my daughter's life on a lie. What part of that is right? Owen's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. A nurse approached. Dr. Whitmore? We need you in the ER. Multi-car pileup on the highway. All hands on deck. James hesitated, looking at Sophie. Go, Arya said. She needs you to save other people too. I'll be back as soon as I can. James touched the incubator, his palm flat against the plastic near Sophie's head. Then he was gone. Silence settled heavy between Arya and Owen. I'm sorry, Arya finally whispered. Are you? Owen's voice was measured. Because I'm trying to figure out what exactly you're sorry for. Lying to me? Letting me fall in love with a baby that isn't mine? Or just getting caught? That's not fair. Fair? Owen's control cracked. You want to talk about fair? I proposed to you 6 months ago, Arya. I looked you in the eyes and promised to raise this child as my own, and you said yes. You let me believe she was ours. I thought she might be. Arya's tears came again. The timing was so close. We were together within weeks of James leaving. I genuinely didn't know. But you suspected. Owen's accusation hung in the air. You suspected, and you said nothing. You let me build a life around a maybe. What was I supposed to do? Get a paternity test while I was pregnant? Risk the baby for certainty? You could have told me the truth. Owen's voice broke. You could have trusted me enough to be honest. Instead, you made the choice for both of us. Arya had no answer for that. Owen stared at Sophie, his expression torn. I love her. God help me, I love that little girl more than anything. But every time I look at her now, I'm going to see him. I'm going to remember this moment. Owen. I need time. He stood abruptly. I need to think. Figure out if I can actually do this. Please don't go. Owen paused at the door, his back to her. You made me a father without my consent. Now I'm choosing to walk away for a minute. We're even. He left. Arya sat alone with Sophie, watching her daughter's chest rise and fall artificially. The machines beeped steadily, marking time. Hours passed. The night shift nurse brought updates. Sophie's oxygen saturation was improving slowly. Still critical, but stable. James returned near midnight, still in surgical scrubs stained with someone else's blood. 6 patients, he said, collapsing into the chair Owen had vacated. We lost one. A teenager, barely 17. I'm sorry. This job. James stared at Sophie. Sometimes I wonder if I'm making any difference at all. We save one life, lose another. The math never works out. You saved Sophie tonight. Did I? Or did I just delay the inevitable? James's exhaustion showed through. She's so small, Arya. So fragile. She's a fighter. Like her father. James looked at her sharply. Don't. Don't what? Don't try to make me feel better about this situation. Owen's right. I don't deserve to be here. I left you. I gave up any claim to being her father the day I walked away. You didn't know about her. I should have fought harder for you. Should have told you the truth instead of running. Now look at us. James gestured helplessly at the incubator between them. Our daughter is fighting for her life, and the man who actually stepped up to be her father is gone because of my mistakes. Our mistakes, Arya corrected. I lied too. To both of you. They sat in silence, exhaustion settling into their bones. She has your nose, James said softly. And your chin. But her eyes, those are mine. Don't get attached. The words came out harsher than Arya intended. Owen loves her. He's been her father from the beginning. When she gets better, that's how it needs to stay. James's face hardened. You expect me to just walk away? Again? I expect you to do what's best for Sophie. And what's best is stability. A home with two parents who are actually together. Not this mess we've created. You're choosing him. I'm choosing my daughter's future. I'm her father, Arya. Biology matters. So does showing up. Arya's anger flared. Owen has been there every single day. You've been what? Watching from the shadows? That doesn't make you a father. That makes you a ghost. James stood, his face pale. I'll do whatever you want. If you want me gone, I'll transfer to another hospital. Another state. But don't ask me to stop caring about her. I can't. James. The monitor alarms shrieked. Sophie's oxygen levels plummeted. James was at the incubator instantly, calling for the nurse. She's decompensating. Get me a crash cart. Now. Arya's world narrowed to that single moment. Medical staff flooded in. James's hands worked with desperate precision, adjusting tubes, checking airways. Come on, baby girl, James murmured. Come on. Breathe. The alarm continued its shrill cry. Then suddenly, silence. Sophie's numbers stabilized. James sagged against the incubator, his forehead resting on the plastic. She's okay. She's okay. Arya realized she was sobbing. James looked up at her, his face raw with emotion. Tell me to leave tomorrow. Tell me I have no rights. But tonight, let me stay. Please. I can't lose both of you again. Before Arya could answer, the NICU doors burst open. Owen stood there, soaked from the rain, wild-eyed. Behind him stood a woman Arya recognized immediately from the photos on his desk. His ex-wife, Catherine. We need to talk, Catherine said, her voice cold. All of us. Because Owen isn't the only one who's been keeping secrets. The hospital conference room smelled like stale coffee and desperation. Catherine sat with her hands folded on the table, perfectly composed. Owen stood by the window, unable to look at anyone. What's going on? Arya demanded. Why is she here? Tell them, Catherine said to Owen, her voice sharp. Or I will. Owen's shoulders sagged. We're not divorced. The words hung in the air like smoke. What? Arya's voice came out barely above a whisper. The papers were never finalized. Owen finally turned to face her. There was a technicality with the filing. By the time we realized, Catherine and I had already separated. We were supposed to refile, but we never did. So when you proposed to me, I was still married. Technically. Owen's face twisted with shame. I know how it sounds. You hypocrite. Arya's laugh was bitter. You stood there judging me for lying, and you've been lying this entire time? It's not the same. Isn't it? Arya's anger surged hot. I didn't know whose baby Sophie was. You absolutely knew you were still married. Catherine leaned back in her chair. Oh, it gets better. Tell her why we never finalized, Owen. Tell her the real reason. Catherine, don't. We have a son. Catherine's words dropped like bombs. Marcus. He's 4 years old. Owen sees him every other weekend. Arya felt the floor tilt. You have a child? I was going to tell you. Owen's voice cracked. I just needed the right time. The right time? Arya's voice rose. We're having a baby together, and you never thought to mention you already have a son? James, who'd been silent until now, spoke up. You let her believe you were free. That you could give her and Sophie a fresh start. Like you did? Owen shot back. You're no better. We're all liars here. At least I'm trying to make it right. By what? Showing up now? Where were you when Arya was crying herself to sleep every night after you left? Where were you during morning sickness, during the fears, during everything? Owen's face flushed. I was there. I held her. I loved her. That counts for something. It counted until you lied about having a family. Stop. Arya's voice cut through. Both of you, just stop. Catherine stood smoothly. I didn't come here to watch you all fight. I came to give you this. She slid an envelope across the table to Owen. Divorce papers. Real ones this time. Our lawyers can have them finalized within a week. Owen stared at the envelope. Why now? Because I'm getting remarried. Catherine's smile was cold. And unlike you, I'm not going to build my future on lies. Also, I want full custody of Marcus. What? No. We have joint custody. Had joint custody. But given your current situation, living with a newborn who isn't yours, engaged to a woman you're not actually legally able to marry, lying about your marital status. Catherine's eyes glittered. I think any judge would agree Marcus needs stability. Real stability. You can't do this. Watch me. Catherine headed for the door, then paused. Oh, and Owen? Your father called. He knows about everything. About Sophie not being yours. About you still being married. He's cutting you off. No more trust fund. No more family money. You're on your own. She left. The silence was crushing. Owen sank into a chair, his face in his hands. I'm losing everything. How did your father find out? Arya asked. Does it matter? Owen's voice was muffled. It's all falling apart anyway. James's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, his face going pale. I have to go. There's been a complication with Sophie's blood work. What kind of complication? Arya's heart seized. Her bilirubin levels are dangerously high. She needs a blood transfusion immediately, but she has a rare blood type. AB negative. We're running out of time to find a match. Take mine. Owen stood quickly. Test me. Owen, if she's not your biological daughter. Test me anyway. Please. James nodded, leading Owen out. Arya sat alone in the conference room, the weight of every lie, every secret, crushing down on her. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You think you know the truth? You don't know anything. James didn't leave because of his mother. Ask him about the malpractice suit. Ask him about the patient he killed. Ask him why he really ran. Arya's hands shook. No. It couldn't be true. But the seed of doubt had been planted. When James returned 20 minutes later, his face was grim. Owen's not a match. I'm testing myself now, but we need to call in the blood bank. This is critical. Why did you really leave me? Arya asked, her voice deadly quiet. James froze. I told you. My mother. Don't lie to me. Not now. Not anymore. Arya held up her phone. I got a text. About a malpractice suit. About a patient. The color drained from James's face. It's true, isn't it? Arya. Tell me the truth. For once, just tell me the truth. James sank into a chair, suddenly looking much older. There was a patient. Sarah Mitchell. 26 years old, pregnant with her first child. She came in with the same symptoms as you. Placental abruption. What happened? I made a mistake. James's voice broke. One small mistake in the dosage calculation. 1 decimal point. She hemorrhaged during surgery. We couldn't stop it. She died on my table. Arya felt sick. The hospital settled. I was cleared of gross negligence, but I knew the truth. I killed her. Killed her and her baby because I wasn't careful enough. Tears streamed down James's face. My mom was dying, yes. But I left because I couldn't face you. Couldn't risk hurting you the same way. I thought if I wasn't in your life, you'd be safe from my mistakes. So when I came in tonight, I was terrified. James looked at her fully. Terrified of losing you the way I lost Sarah. But I couldn't let you die. Couldn't let our daughter die. So I operated, knowing that if I made even one mistake, I'd destroy everything again. You should have told me. Would you have let me operate if you knew? Arya had no answer. A nurse burst in. Dr. Whitmore, we found a match in the blood bank. But there's a problem. The blood is being held for another patient's surgery tomorrow. A 6-year-old girl. Elective surgery, but still critical. If we use it for Sophie, that surgery gets postponed indefinitely. James stood. How long does Sophie have? Maybe an hour. 2 at most. And the other patient? Her surgery can technically wait a few more weeks. But every day increases her risk. James looked at Arya, his eyes tortured. It's your choice. Sophie's life now, or another child's life tomorrow. Arya felt the weight of the decision crushing her. Save her daughter by potentially condemning another child. Or sacrifice Sophie for a stranger. There has to be another way, she whispered. There isn't. James's voice was gentle but firm. Not in time. You have to choose. Owen appeared in the doorway. I'm a match. They all turned. The test just came back. I may be negative. Same as Sophie. Owen looked at Arya, his eyes clear despite the tears. I'm her father in every way that matters. So take my blood. Save our daughter. Owen, James started. She's mine. Owen's voice was steel. I don't care about DNA. I don't care about biology. She's been mine from the moment Arya told me she was pregnant. And I'm not losing her. James nodded slowly. Then let's save our daughter. The transfusion took 2 hours. Owen lay on a gurney beside Sophie's incubator, his blood flowing through tubes into his daughter. Not biological, but his nonetheless. Arya sat between them, holding Owen's hand on one side, her palm pressed against Sophie's incubator on the other. James monitored every number, every reading, his hands steady despite the exhaustion carved into his face. Her levels are stabilizing, James announced. The bilirubin is dropping. She's going to make it. Relief flooded through Arya so intensely she thought she might break apart from it. Owen's eyes drifted closed. Good. That's good. You gave a lot of blood, James said quietly. You need to rest. In a minute. Owen squeezed Arya's hand. I need to say something first. Owen, you don't have to. I do. He opened his eyes, looking at her with clarity she hadn't seen in hours. I love you, Arya. I love Sophie. But I can't do this. The words hit like a physical blow. I want to, Owen continued, his voice breaking. God, I want to be the man who can look past everything and just love you both. But every time I look at her, I'm going to see him. See the lie. See the life we could have had if we'd all just been honest from the start. I understand, Arya whispered. Do you? Owen's laugh was sad. Because I'm not sure I do. I'm losing my son. My family. My money. Everything that defined who I was. And I thought Sophie would be enough. That being her father would fill that hole. But it doesn't work that way. You'll always be her father, James said. Biology doesn't change what you've done for her. Owen looked at James for a long moment. Take care of them. Both of them. Don't make the same mistakes I did. He stood slowly, unsteady from the blood loss. Arya rose to help him, but he gently pulled away. I'll come visit. When things are less raw. When I figure out who I am without all the lies. Owen touched the incubator one last time. Be strong, little one. You've got the best parts of all of us. He walked out. Arya watched him go, tears streaming silently down her face. I'm sorry, James said. For what? For all of it. For leaving. For not being there. For making everything so complicated. Arya turned to look at him. Really look at him. The man who'd loved her, left her, saved her daughter. Who carried the weight of his mistakes like stones in his pockets. Tell me about Sarah Mitchell. James flinched but didn't look away. She was kind. Excited about being a mother. Her husband brought her in, just like Owen brought you. I should have caught the abruption sooner. Should have been faster. 1 minute difference, and she'd still be alive. You can't know that. I know I failed her. Just like I failed you. James's voice was raw. But tonight, I didn't fail. Tonight, I saved you both. And I'll spend the rest of my life making sure I never make those mistakes again. What are you saying? I'm saying I want to be in Sophie's life. In your life. If you'll let me. James moved closer. Not as we were. We can't go back. But maybe we can build something new. Something honest. James. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm not asking you to love me again. I'm just asking for a chance to be her father. To prove that I can show up, day after day, and be the man you needed me to be 3 years ago. Arya looked at Sophie, so small and fragile, but fighting. Surviving. She'll have questions someday. About why Owen left. About who you are. About why everything is so complicated. Then we'll tell her the truth. James's hand covered Arya's on the incubator. No more lies. No more running. Just the truth, no matter how messy it is. You broke me once. I know. If you do it again, if you disappear again. I won't. James's eyes burned with intensity. I swear on her life, I won't. Arya wanted to believe him. Wanted to trust that people could change, that mistakes could be forgiven, that broken things could be made whole again. Okay, she whispered. Okay. Over the next 2 weeks, Sophie grew stronger. Her lungs matured. The ventilator came off. She learned to breathe on her own, then to nurse, then to cry with shocking volume. James was there every day. Not just as her doctor, but as her father. Learning to change diapers, to soothe her cries, to hold her with the careful reverence of someone who knew how precious, how fragile, life could be. Owen came once, 3 weeks after Sophie came home. He held her for 10 minutes, tears streaming down his face, then kissed her forehead and left. Arya found divorce papers on her doorstep the next morning, signed and finalized. He'd taken care of everything. Catherine got her custody arrangement. Owen moved to Portland for a fresh start, sending monthly updates about Marcus that Arya read aloud to Sophie even though she was too young to understand. James moved into Arya's guest room 6 months later. Not as lovers, not yet, but as co-parents learning to navigate the complicated landscape they'd created. One night, Arya woke to find James's room empty. She found him in the nursery, holding Sophie against his chest as she slept. I dream about Sarah sometimes, he said softly. About what her daughter would have looked like. What kind of mother she would have been. James. But then I wake up, and Sophie's here. Alive. Healthy. And I think maybe that's my redemption. Not forgetting what I did wrong, but making sure I do right by her. By you. Arya stood beside him, looking down at their daughter. We're all just trying to do better than we did yesterday. Is it enough? James looked at her. Can it ever be enough? I don't know, Arya admitted. But it's all we have. James leaned down, pressing a kiss to Sophie's head. Then I'll make it enough. Every single day. I promise. And as morning light filtered through the nursery window, painting them all in shades of gold, Arya thought maybe promises weren't about being unbreakable. Maybe they were about being brave enough to make them again, even after they'd been shattered. Maybe love wasn't about perfection. Maybe it was just about showing up. Sophie stirred, her tiny hand grasping James's finger. Her eyes opened, deep brown and ancient, looking at her father like she could see straight through to his soul. Hey there, little fighter, James whispered. And in that moment, with all their scars and mistakes and complicated histories, they were exactly what they needed to be. A family. Imperfect. Honest. Real. The end.